What's going on, guys? This is Badass Viewer, and today I'll be having a look at the Target exclusive Marvel Legends Infinite Series Miss Marvel figure. This is from the 3-pack, if you haven't heard about it. Pretty awesome figure. Kind of let down a little bit by the quality control of this figure, but overall it's a really nice, definitely a huge step up from a lot of different things here. This is the best female body mold that Hasbro's ever made, or for any Marvel Legends female figure, in my opinion. Just because of how good it looks. Everything looks very flush and nice, and compared to the Toy Biz one, which is also a great figure, this one just looks a lot more comic book cartoony-ish, if that makes sense. And I have the Toy Biz one here to compare. As you can see, in a lot of Toy Biz figures tend to have a more realistic sort of look to them, but this one I just like a lot better because the paint is indecently more better, but for certain people there's different problems in terms of paint. But like the head sculpt is just much better. It looks more like a female comic book character rather than this kind of human esque kind of look to it, with the kind of weird hair. I don't know why female figures always just came out looking kind of strange, although Miss Marvel was the only one that actually kind of looked like an actual female. But here's a quick size comparison between the two. I'd say they're about the same size. I think they're both standing pretty straight. So they're about the same size, so that's nice. She's not taller than most anyone else. Very nice though. I really like this figure a lot, despite the fact that there's some very flawed paint detailing, and some of the joints I feel like are pretty fragile. I'm a little afraid that at some point they may break. So if I can try and find another 3-pack, I would pick it up, but she's gonna be on my shelf anyway, so there won't be a whole lot of movement and a whole lot of reason for me to break her. But I always like to just have backups in case. But very nice. I like the head sculpt a lot. It is very very nice looking, very accurate to how she looks. And if we do a little comparison with Moonstone here, which is the exact same head sculpt, the head sculpt's exactly the same, but the hair, I believe, is different, and it's only slightly. It towards the back here, and maybe it's just because it's more of a softer plastic, it feels like. But this one, the hair is kind of curled in certain spots where this one isn't. So I don't know if maybe the plastic just dried that way or not. But I mean, it almost is the same, but maybe it's just how the molding came out. I'm not sure. But same head sculpt, same exact body. This is the definitive female body, as I said, so that's very nice. Paint applications are pretty decent, except for on the skin tone, which is where I'm having most of my problem, because they decided to make they molded the whole arm black and then painted it with the tan skin color, which is a really bad idea because black is easier to cover up things than it is to cover up black. And it just kind of chipped off here at the arm here. Everywhere else is pretty okay until we get down to the legs, where the upper part of the thigh is molded in the skin tone, whereas the bottom part, where the leggings meet the lower part of the thigh, they painted it. It was molded all black and then painted with the skin tone, which again is bad because black is easier to cover things up with. So if they would have just molded the skin color and then painted over with black, it would have looked a lot better, and the skin tones would have matched up and not looked kind of funky. So they could have done a better job at doing that. But luckily her Miss Marvel's symbol for the lightning bolt is very well intact. It looks very good and flush, so that's nice. And you know, if you get her in a good bend backwards, it's still well connected, so I like that a lot. Other than that, that's about it. She's very nice looking. I definitely like the figure quite a bit, and she'll look really good in my collection. She also comes with this, which is just a floating piece. I kind of wish it was off to the side more instead of in the back, because if it's in the back, it looks like she has some weird tail. But if you have it in the front, it's just kind of in the way. And maybe, you know, it could go either way, but it's whatever. It's not too big of a deal. But let's go on to articulation. For the head, it's just a single ball peg, which I'm actually kind of disappointed, but I know why. On some of the more recent female figures, they had a ball joint and a swivel, but I can understand why they don't have that very often, because the hair will just hinder it anyways. But it's nice to at least have that option, and they used it on Medusa, which her hair was like the longest of any Marvel characters, so I mean, it got good movement, but it was kind of worthless on that character because her head was too top heavy to hold, for that ball peg swivel to hold it. But it'd be nice to get that on some of these figures. I mean, even if it doesn't do much, it's still nice to have that kind of option of articulation. But her head does move left and right. It looks up a little bit, but it looks down fairly decent amount. Her arms are on ball joints. They go in and out. Well, not ball joints, but a peg and a swivel. So they go in and out, rotate 360 degrees. Upper thigh swivel, or upper bicep swivel, sorry. He's got a 90 degrees in the elbow as well as a hinge. Wish they would get a double jointed elbow on these female figures, but I think a 90 degrees is pretty well enough, so not a big deal for me. Swivel on the wrist as well as a hinge. She's got 2 closed fists, if I didn't mention that before, which is fine by me. I guess it would have been cool to maybe get some interchangeable hands, but not a big deal. I'm fine with closed fists any day. Her upper torso movement, you can get a lot in it. She can bend back good enough for flying poses. She can kind of go forward a little bit, but not too much, but it's good enough for me, and it goes side to side. So really full range of motion there. No waist swivel. Her legs can go forward and back, in and out. Upper part of the thigh swivels. Double jointed knees, a hinge in the foot, and an ankle pivot. So overall, a very nice figure. A lot of people were excited to see that this figure was going to be coming out in a updated body mold, with new paint apps and stuff like that. Definitely very nice. If you didn't pick up the Toy Biz version way back when, you know, the prices for her will probably start going down a little bit, but it's still a pretty expensive figure for the most part. And not to mention that every single one of these have always been, I think, an exclusive. I think the Toy Biz one was part of Giant Man series, I want to say. I may be wrong, but I know that she was hard to get. So really, all 3 versions are pretty hard to get, but it seems that Target is selling these in a pretty hefty way, because I was able to get mine online, and then I went on eBay and they were selling them. So hopefully Hasbro and Target have, you know, shipped enough into the warehouse to, you know, well supply themselves for when people want these, which I hope they do for the Toys R Us exclusive Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 3-pack, because I know that one's going to be extremely difficult to find, only because every time I go to Toys R Us they never have anything. So hopefully it'll be that easy for when that comes out, but we'll have to see. But hopefully you guys can find this. Definitely check online, because I have seen it on eBay and on their website, you know, fully stocked. So hopefully it won't be too hard of a time trying to get this. I really don't like exclusives for that reason, that you have to really try hard to find them. But hopefully they are taking care of that problem by you know, being well stocked for, you know, people to come and buy them, and that way it'll keep the prices online for like scalpers really far down, so that way the 3-pack is kind of not worthless, but you know, it's not as much as the scalpers would want it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this review. Stay tuned for more figure reviews and other general discussions and videos like that. Next video will be over Radioactive Man, so check that out, and thanks for watching, guys.